Get ready to mash this party up. It's Rick and Script full non-stop. Hey! Rick and Script. D-Max style. Oh, yeah. I see you coming from a mile away, girl. I see ya coming. Girl, I see ya. Hey! She says she's a real good girl. She only goes to church then home. I say I'm a real good guy like Rick and Script. I stay in my zone. She says she don't party hard. I tell her I'm a party hard.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, more on the Fred Ramsey guilty verdict.
After-school violence causing quite the scare here in one local community. That and more tonight on our news.
The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture responds to calls for the removal of Junkanoo from Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. Details straight ahead.
Welcome to our news. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight, Central and South Eleuthera MP Damian Gomez has confirmed he has plans to resign as chairman of the House of Assembly's Committee on Privilege. Gomez said he would be surprised if Supreme Court Justice Indra Charles were to be called before the committee over her court order prohibiting MPs from disclosing Save the Bay's emails.
On Monday next, we're likely to see me formally resign, and someone will be substituted for me, and the process will take its course.
Though he will no longer head that committee as of Monday, Gomez said he would be shocked if the Supreme Court Justice were to be called before that committee. He referenced the separation of powers and mentioned that if parliamentarians feel she was interfering with the parliamentary process, it would be as if Parliament is interfering with the judiciary. The Justice's move to grant that injunction was last week dubbed a preemptive onslaught against Parliament's defense. However, Gomez said even if he were to remain the chair of that committee, he wouldn't be the one to call her before them. But as for why Gomez is resigning,
because of the close association of this issue with the Nygaard-Bacon dispute, and it would not be, in my view, proper, because people would perceive that I have an axe to grind, and so it would be better for me to be replaced by someone else.
He serves as counsel for both Peter Nygaard and Coach Smith, who have been embroiled in the Nygaard-Bacon controversy. Gomez said the House Speaker is aware of his decision.
He understands my position. I mean, I had said this when I spoke.
Well, former Bahamas Electricity Corporation board member Fred Ramsey faces a maximum of 4 years imprisonment and a $10,000 fine after being convicted on 14 counts last evening in the BEC bribery trial. Vonik Toot has the details.
Surrounded by loved ones, 79-year-old Fred Ramsey managed to crack a smile as he exited the Supreme Court last evening. Minutes earlier, a jury found him guilty on 2 counts of conspiracy to commit bribery and 12 counts of bribery by majority verdicts. The 7-woman, 2-man jury acquitted Ramsey of 2 counts of conspiracy to commit bribery and 2 counts of bribery. His attorney, Wayne Monroe QC, raised a constitutional motion, which Justice Bernard Turner will hear on May 12th.
These jurors were directed, and I have no doubt, to the best of their abilities, they discharged what they saw to be their duty and their obligation. But we have a right to be able to put material before them. We were given limited materials. We complained about it during the trial. It was not remedied other than by the Mott MacDonald CD, and it definitely wasn't remedied by the BEC minutes, and so that is what we're going to be arguing about next Thursday.
Monroe asked that his client be permitted to remain on bail until the motion is heard next week. Turner extended Ramsey's bail until then and ordered that he surrender his travel documents. However, he made it clear to Ramsey that the decision to continue bail is not an indication that a custodial sentence would not be imposed. Despite the guilty verdict, Monroe says his client hasn't lost faith.
Mr. Ramsey has certain health challenges, which was the reason I didn't call him to give evidence in this matter, and which, in my judgment, affects how he reacts to matters. He's a man of 78 years old, a senior person of standing in this country, and he has issues that all 79-year-olds have, some of them have, and he is still, from what I can gather from him, he still has faith in the system, and we will see what happens next Thursday.
During his trial, Ramsey denied that he accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes from Alstom Power SA by providing officials with information from board meetings or using his connection to influence his decision. The allegations came to light when Alstom was fined $775 million after admitting to participating in a global scheme to pay officials to ensure they were awarded contracts. The prosecution's principal witness, Mark Smith, who was granted immunity from prosecution, provided records which show he deposited checks to Ramsey's U.S. bank account. Smith claimed the money represented payments from Alstom. However, Ramsey's lawyer suggested those payments were commissions from business that he had done with Caribbean Business Supplies Limited. Acting Director of Public Prosecutions Garvin Gaskin and Cordell Frazier prosecuted. Reporting for our News, I'm Vonique Tude.
Well, former Court of Appeal President Dame Joan Sawyer says she has personally known and cared about some members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community since their birth and encouraged LGBT members to remember God loves them and can help them in all their struggles. Several members of the Bahamas Transgender, Intersex United, and LGBT community have said the upcoming referendum does not include transgender or intersex issues and called on the Christie administration to ensure transgender Bahamians are treated humanely and granted equal rights. Tune into our news tomorrow evening for an exclusive interview with Dame Joan Sawyer on the upcoming referendum. Well, from the crime beat, a 43-year-old man died in hospital after he was stabbed in the neck on the island of Grand Bahama during an altercation with another man. According to police reports, the altercation occurred in the Man of War Circle area. The man was transported to Random Memorial Hospital in a private vehicle where he died a short time later. 3 men are said to be assisting police with their investigation. This is the 8th murder on that island for the year. Well, a fight between high school students on a bus stop got out of hand recently. A young man claims his life was threatened and his mother's living room window was damaged after he tried to part the fight. The angry mother is now calling on officials to address the issue of school violence. Giorgio Bain reports.
One young man's life was threatened after he attempted to break up a after-school fight, but his mother says she won't lose her son to this violence.
Whenever he see me, he's going to kill me. They ain't got to worry about nothing. I dead. They can bury me.
My child is not going to be a statistic. He is not. I am not burying another child. And I want the public to know that I am not burying another child.
According to Notario Williams, who has lived in the Farrington Road area his entire life, the bus stop was usually peaceful until violence erupted between school students. Williams says once the students are on the bus stop, everything comes to a halt. On the day his life was threatened and vandals smashed the living room window at his home, Williams says he was just trying to break up a fight.
By the time I proceeded to the end of the yard, they was ganging on this little girl and this little boy. So when I proceeded to pull children off of them, other children began to attack adults who live around here, and the adults started to push them back. And as they pushed them back, I was getting hit from who, only God knows. And as I pulled children off, that began something, I guess.
Williams' mother, Nayoka Swan, is calling on officials at H.O. Nash and officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force to intervene, as the problem is obviously getting out of hand.
I have small children that are in this yard, and when a grown adult is going to come in my yard and is going to tell my child he's going to kill him and is going to set up students, rather than you teach them something constructive, you harboring foolishness. You got to be ignorant. I am not going to allow my child to be another statistic. I'm not going to talk about any parent who has lost their child because of students. There has to be stiffer penalties because these children don't seem to understand people's life. Okay, you're getting involved with these gangs. Sit down and evaluate yourselves and take the time out to do something constructive. Here it is now, a broken glass. I have to repair.
Swan says she hopes something will be done for the benefit of those who simply want to live in peace. After several attempts, our news spoke with the principal at H.O. Nash, who said she was not aware of this incident, but it would not be a surprise as after-school fights are frequent. She said she would not be available for comment until Thursday. Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
After the break, are there plans to remove Junkanoo from Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival? The details are after the break.